Hey YouTube, Cave Dweller 1959 here. We're hanging out in the man cave today. Believe it or not, it's 4 degrees below zero outside. Too cold for me. Got a little project here I'm going to work on. A couple more knives. Last video, my first video, talking about acid and the use of customizing it. A couple old Chicago cutleries. These things are about 30-35 years old. Dried out, you can tell. That's pretty good indication. Excellent blades. Need a facelift. We're just the people to do it. I'm going to show you how to do this with a minimum of tools. You can do it in your basement. Very simple. Do it anywhere. I don't think I need to show you. I'm just going to take a drill. I'm going to drill these 3 rivets out on both of them. I'm going to take a wood chisel, split them. They'll fall right off. I'll be back in a flash. Alright, we're back again. I got the scales knocked off them. Took 80 grit sandpaper, cleaned all the black stuff off there, got them ready to go. Put some tape on them, keep self, protect that edge, also protect your fingers. Last video I tried to talk about curl in maple. This one here, all I did different, I put a little water on it. You can see the curl. Maple, this board, the grain is running this way. The curl runs the other way. That shows up really good. That is what we are looking for, and that is what we're going to put on the knife. Next thing I'm going to do, I already did it. Right here, outline them. There's my knife, there's my blades. I'm going to put them on a scroll saw. I'm going to cut these out. Very simple to do. Back in a flash. Yo, we're back again. Okay, I've got them cut out. I've used my blade, marked my 3 holes, put them in the drill press, drill them straight down. If you don't have a drill press, don't worry about it. It's not necessary. It makes life nice and easy. Use a hand drill. Not a big deal. I've also taken, this is 3/4 inch wide. It's basic stock from the lumberyard. It came out of a 1x6. 3/8, draw a line right down the center. Take a scroll saw. Watch your fingers. Not a time to be sloppy. I'm going to split that bugger right down the middle. That said, you end up with this. Holes drilled, split right down the middle. That's what you call a book matched set. If you can't do this, don't worry about it. You just got some knives you want to do. There's plenty of places on the web. They sell just scales. They'll be 1.5 inches wide, 5 inches long, 3/8 of an inch thick. Perfect. That's what they're made for. When you buy them, if they're buying a better cut and they start talking book match set, that's all it is right there. Took a 1/64 of an inch out of the middle of them. Both them are identical. You can't get any closer than that. When we glue them up, we're going to go back to our factory smooth on the outside. We're going to glue them together like that. Perfect glue joint. This is the side that's going to get worked. They're going to be identical. We're going to put them together with rivets. Cutlery rivets, they're called. Male, female. Basic as can be. It's compression fit. There's about 20-25 thousandths difference in diameter from the inside and the outside. It's compression. When them are put together, they are permanent and they are strong. They're about 30 cents a piece, so you got $1 in your knife. One thing you really want to pay attention to, your finished knife is going to be X wide. Those rivets are in there. I want to make sure they're going to be countersunk. We're going to put them down absolutely flush. When you look, the female part, using this as a guide there, that rivet can go in all but about 3/32 of an inch. If you don't pay attention to that, if your scales are less thick, your blade is thinner, whatever the case is, if them bottom out and you cannot drive them down flush, you just ruined your project. Excuse me. You cannot get these apart without drilling them out, and you will completely ruin your project. If you spent some money on some really nice wood, you just threw it out the window. Cutlery rivets, what these are. Seen this knife in my last video. Nothing more and what holds your scales on with the epoxy glue. You didn't see my last video, there's one of the knives I had in it. My first video, that's what I like to do right there. If your rivet is too short, too long, whatever I should say, you're very seldom ever going to run into doing what I do that you're going to have to shorten the female. You're going to have to shorten up the male. Not hard to do. Take it into pliers, take it whenever you have. You're going to have files. A little adjusting down here. We're going to file off 50, 60 thousandths, I don't know, whatever you think. It's very, very, very close. I think they'll actually fit. But rather than think they'll actually fit, I want to know they're going to fit. Like I said, if it doesn't, you just ruined your project, you ruined your wood. You got to tear it all back apart, and you're back to having nothing but a blank with nothing on it. Back in a minute. Alright, we're back one more time. We're going to epoxy these on here. Two-part epoxy, pretty self-explanatory, not too difficult to think about. Good thing to mark your pieces if you're doing more than one at a time. These are hand ground at the factory. They are not identical. And I put these together as a dry fit. I thought, oh my God, what did I do? Didn't fit very good, just switched them around. Okay, there we are, they fit perfect. X's and O's, X's and O's. I'm only going to do one at a time here. This 5-minute epoxy, which that means I can work on it tomorrow morning instead of yet. In 5 minutes, you're never going to happen. But you want plenty of epoxy on there. If there's any gaps, any voids, you want epoxy coming out everywhere, so every void, everything is filled. It's 100% solid bond. Need a little anvil, something to work on. X's and O's. When you weren't looking, I countersunk these just a little bit with the regular deal that's made for it, a bit. Fits in there. When we get done pounding them down, they're going to be beat down to their flush. Alright, let's do her, see what happens. You countersink them about half the thickness is what I think is the flange on them rivets. Everything's looking pretty good there. Time to make some noise. So we're going to take the male half of the rivet, start assembling. Do not drive one in all the way and try to seat it 100%. Get them all in there, get them all started. Any of you people that are into working on motors, how to use tight down head bolts on a motor. Rotate around a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. Never tighten one all. Go through, uh-oh. Just going to drive them in flush, both sides. There you have it. Epoxy coming out everywhere. There is absolutely no voids in there. It ain't smeared down a little bit. Alright, I'm going to do the other one and then let her set up overnight. Tomorrow I'll finish them up and we'll see you then.